Now to the pandemic, in particular, the economic impact. About 3 million Canadians are still out of a job or looking for work, and about 8 million Canadians have received federal help, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, or CERB. Today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says he's going to introduce legislation to tighten the rules on the program and could impose fines and jail time on those who deliberately lie on their applications.
Those people will simply have to pay back the one that they shouldn't have been taken, and we're not looking at punishing people who made honest mistakes. Obviously, this is a time for us to pull together as a country.
The Prime Minister says when the program was put in place, the priority was to have the money flow rapidly. That's left gaps in the system that some are exploiting. As Mike Le Couteur reports, the government is under pressure to crack down on fraudulent claims, but avoid making criminals out of people who made honest mistakes.
Like many Canadians, Derek Bosch has been locked down at home since mid-March. Unlike others, though, he can't go back to work even as his province is reopening because he's undergoing cancer treatment.
I'm at a severe risk for immune infection and compromise because of the treatment I'm in, and that I should be home for the duration of the pandemic, not just the first wave, second wave, third wave.
Problem is, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit is capped at 16 weeks, which means Bosch's last check will come in July. He looked at the government website to see what other help is out there, but didn't find much.
The only other option it came up with was you cannot be evicted for not paying your rent, which is not a funding solution.
He's also worried that if he reapplies for the CERB, officials might think he's trying to defraud the system, something the government is trying to crack down on with new legislation that could impose fines of up to $5,000 or even jail time.
We do need the tools to go after those who deliberately choose to take advantage of people and systems vulnerability in a time of crisis.
A government source says the average rate of fraud for any federal program at any time is between 1% and 2%. So, with $43.5 billion already paid out through the CERB, it's possible between $43 and $87 million may have already been claimed by fraudsters.
The economy starts to reopen.
Being a minority government, the Liberals need opposition support, and so far the NDP isn't on side.
While the Prime Minister took a knee one day, the same day his government was putting in place a law that would criminalize people who are desperate. How does the Prime Minister think that makes any sense at all to do?
Of course, if people made good faith mistakes, there are not going to be punitive consequences for them.
The Bloc Québécois says it'll support Trudeau on 3 conditions, including that he presents an economic update to the country by July the 1st. The Prime Minister hasn't ruled that out, but he says there's so much uncertainty with the pandemic that making projections about the economy would be an exercise in innovation and imagination. Mike Le Couteur, Global News, Ottawa.